So welcome to my review of the TRI Kai HBB. That's a connect kind of wording. These are a single dynamic driver per side, and this is a collaboration with TRI and HBB, as in Hawaii Bad Boy, or his YouTube channel is Bad Guy Good All Reviews. And yeah, typically his collabs tend to be single DDs because single DDs are pretty good. So yeah, as usual, for all the scammers, I'd like to thank a viewer for sending this to me. You know who you are, so thank you very much. I was not paid to do this video, nor thoughts and opinions are my own. And when I've reviewed his goods, I send them back, so this is not to keep. And yeah, let's get into the video. So I like the packaging, it's very simple. And yes, I spec, so brand models the Kai HBB 36 ohm pins, which is a little bit higher. It's not too bad. Sensitivity 114 dB, frequency response 20 to 40 kHz, which is a lot, and there's an OFC silver plated cable, and that's it. Just information about TRI. I haven't really tried many of their products, to be honest. I do have the i3 Pro, which is a fun one, the Treble. Bit of paperwork at the bottom. Nice case. Seems pretty good. So again, the user, well, the owner of these sent them to me. So I don't know what you're supposed to get or what's extra, shall we say. So there's a cleaning brush. Let's get one of these out. I don't know if they actually come in these little bags, but looks kind of like bronze. Kind of bronze. Obviously fingerprints. I do like the blue. They do look quite different, but yeah. So a little vent there, T-pin there. You can see his brand, and with the blue, I do like that. Yeah, so that's not too bad at all. Cleaning cloth of some sort in here. Obviously the other one's in this little bag. Build quality seems pretty good. Some tips in there, which I'll have a look in a bit. And this is the cable, so I'll just get this out now. So kind of gold, straight strain relief. Seems okay. Y split. So yeah, at least it seems flexible. So it seems pretty good. But yeah, obviously I have not tried these yet, but they do seem pretty good. So these do have a few fingerprints on them, so I'm not surprised with something like this. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to try these out, graph them and all the fun stuff, and see what they're actually like. Now it's a single DD, and with these kind of tuning, these should be pretty decent. So yeah, I'll see you guys and girls in the future. Yeah, so folks, so welcome to my review section of the TRI HBB Kai, if that's a connector way of putting it. So let's just get into kind of like build, really, as they do look really good. So yeah, build quality is, I think, pretty top notch. It's kind of like a bronze copper kind of look. I do like that. Obviously as a negative, it shows you fingerprint grease, but it is what it is. I do like the blue accent on the shell. Blue is my favourite colour as well, indirectly, but yeah, I think they look pretty cool. And combine that build quality is good, and the cable that you saw in the previous clip seems fine. Obviously there's a small lip on the nozzle to keep the tips on. And what I didn't show you is the tips that come with it. You get a wide ball and you get a smaller ball. So yeah. So comfort, shall we say, comfort on these I thought was okay. I've tried better stuff. I've also tried a lot worse. No real complaints, to be honest. They do fit kind of well. And yeah, so that's straight out of the way. So talk about stage. So sound stage on these was I found a little bit weak. I think it's because he has a softer treble presentation, but I'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, the stage could be a bit better. But they are what they are. I think it's okay. Again, could be a bit bigger. So that's it. So power and sensitivity, I didn't really find these that difficult to drive. and they do use a diamond-like carbon, I think, on a driver. I'm sure it's 9.8mm. I'll have to double check, but it's in that kind of ballpark. But yeah, I had no issues driving these. Yeah, you only tend to have issues if it's hard to drive, or the opposite, where you got super weird sensitivity and things like that. But again, with these, I had no issues at all. Yeah, so yeah, talk about sound really, saves waffling on. So I'm going to overlay the graph now to see what they look like. And mine, which are a loaner, so these are a retail unit. You can see that the one has a kind of different look compared to the other. So the right unit, which it looks like, seems to have, I think, an issue with the dampening. The left unit's fine. The left unit seems to match what other people have, and obviously my right unit doesn't have, maybe doesn't have the dampening, I don't know, but I can just show you what it looks like. But on the whole, the low end these are definitely on the warm side. They can sound a little bit soft depending on the track, and I do try this with a bunch of different stuff. Obviously his music taste is a bit different to mine, but that's what the low end actually looks like. So yeah, I found it it can be a bit soft, but it is also, it has enough slam for excitement. So they are bassy, they are warm, so obviously you can tell that from the graph. It's the same for the lower mid-range, there's a bit of bleed. It depends on what it is. But I'd put it like a touch more sub-bass as well, but that's been picky for the low end. But you know, they are some bassy boys, so just bear that in mind. So mid-range, or mids, definitely forward. Obviously my two pair are different, so I went by what, using obviously both the same time, because I graphed this after I did my listening, and then I just graphed it afterwards. But yeah, the mid-range is definitely forward. That's the point, because that's what he wants. I don't like it too far forward. Again, I'm not really keen on the right unit. Hopefully this is just a one-off. I haven't checked many people's graphs, and I haven't really read any reports of quality control. So this is probably a one-off, or you know, or something like that. But yeah, mid-range is pretty solid. I'm glad it's not more forward than it actually is, to be honest. But very clear, very forward. I think female vocals are pretty solid. Not the best, but they do sound pretty good. It's very clear, shall we say. I was quite happy with the mid-range. Now, treble is, I think maybe the worst part of these is they are obviously forward at the lower section. So any instruments that sit there are very clear. But anything after that, it does seem to fade off a bit. So they are quite soft on the treble region. Probably a bit more than I'd probably like. Because I prefer smoother lower treble and then put a little bit more extension. Obviously these don't really match what I like, but anyway. But yeah, treble is fine, the lower part, then it just rolls off. I think maybe a bit too much. And I think because of that you do lose the stage. Yeah, really, that's pretty much it. But on the whole, as a dynamic driver unit, I do like these. They are a good set. They just don't suit my kind of preference, shall we say, is one way of putting it. But on the whole, they're not too bad at all. Now, I don't know how much these are now. Again, this is a loaner unit, so I didn't buy these. These are on loan to me. I review them, then I send them back to the owner, so that obviously they're not to keep. But yeah, they are a decent set, really. So, conclusion: do I recommend these? I don't know really, because these aren't a perfect set, but these are a retail set. You know, they got pretty good. They are a warmer. They are on the warmer side. They are a pretty easy to listen to kind of tuning. I do like the bass. It's a bit much and there's a bit bleed, but It all depends on, again, what your libraries are. Your libraries, mids are pretty solid. Treble's a bit soft, I think. Further up, you probably want a bit more. The bass does bleed a bit, but it depends if that suits your library. It suits some stuff I listen to, and some stuff it doesn't. And yeah, you probably could do a bit more further treble, but that's just being picky. Again, this is TRI, I think, their first dynamic driver, which is not bad. If this is their first ever one and this is the tuning, that's not bad at all, to be honest. But yeah, so do I recommend these? Maybe, if the quality control would probably be better, because these aren't that cheap, to be honest. But I do like everything else about them. Obviously, the accessories are minimal, but that's not a bad thing, because it's just less waste that gets thrown away. But yeah, not a bad set. Just kind of a little bit of a confusing review, because they're not what I like. And obviously the quality and control should have been a better match, really. But that's it, really. They're not a bad set. If you do like Hawaii Bad Boys kind of library, these will suit you really well. I'm a lot more varied, so I like more of a balanced tuning overall to suit more stuff. But yeah, I'll probably end it there. If you want to know anything in particular about these while I've still got them, please do let me know in the comments. And yeah, thanks for watching. Take care.